Brandye. Thanks for joining me today. I'm looking forward to learning about how to find sellers with a high probability of selling their home. So,
Yes, thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to get to do this with you and enjoyed our coffee last week. So yeah, we'll go ahead and just jump right into it. So for those who haven't met me yet, my name is Brandye Bfoster. I am Business Development Manager for our Katy and Fulshire branches for First American Title. And today we are going to be looking into how to find those high probability sellers. So we'll go ahead. Let me share my screen.
that is what we're all looking for.
Right? Everybody needs a seller.
And you were a realtor for how many years?
Yeah, so I was an agent for 5 years prior to moving into title. I was with KW, did that for 5 years, and then I started with First American Title in April of 2019.
Nice.
All right. So, and you can see this, my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So this
Can you
is
make it a little bit bigger?
I know it's expanded all the way.
Okay. Okay, no problem.
Okay. So the first thing we want to do, right, is make sure that where we're going to be farming is going to be worth our time, our effort, our energy, and of course, most importantly, our money, right? We need to make sure that we are not farming in a neighborhood that's too new, that doesn't really have a whole lot of movement. And all of the big dogs in real estate, such as Tom Ferry, Tony Robbins, Brian Buffini, they all recommend that when you get ready to start farming an area, that it has a 5% or higher turnover rate. So we're going to go into My First AM, and that's how we're going to find out if the area we are interested in farming has that 5% or higher turnover rate, so that we know we're getting our money's worth when we get ready to start farming. So you're just going to select the farming and then map farming. And then you're just going to put in the address of that's in the area that you're considering farming. Once you do that, you're going to have to play a little bit with your screen just to so that you can see, you know, the bulk of the neighborhood. This is the particular neighborhood that we're looking at right here. So I just want to try to get the screen moved so that I can see the most of it. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be super exact. Because really, again, what we're doing is just making sure that there's a good turnover rate before we start spending money in this area. So I'm going to go to the pencil and I'm just going to very, very sloppily, if that's a word, draw out the neighborhood. I don't like the pencil as much because I do not have a steady hand, but we get the bulk of the neighborhood. So
what's the recommended number to farm? Like, is there like a number, 500?
No, so there's really not. So really, it kind of depends on what your goal is. You know, some agents are strictly looking for those high probability sellers. And when you start looking at those numbers, of course, in one particular neighborhood, that number may not be in the hundreds. That you may have 30. It just, a lot of it's going to depend on the number of houses in the area that you're looking at, right? If you are trying to find buyers, same thing applies. But then some agents, you know, might be looking at their neighborhood and say, you know, yes, I want to find high probability sellers, but really I want anybody that's in this neighborhoods, because you may have renters that are renting in that neighborhood and would like to buy in that neighborhood. So it really kind of depends on what your focus is. More importantly, it depends on what your budget is. So when you get ready to start farming, there's a lot of pieces that go into it. The mailer is just one aspect of what you need to be doing if you're looking at this to be truly beneficial and really see a return on it. And so you need to think about what your marketing budget is, how much you have to spend monthly, and can you sustain that for 8 to 12 months? Because if you can only send it 1 or 2 times, don't waste your time we need to look at some other way for you to get clients. Farming is not it. You need to be able to do this for 8 to 12 months. They say you need to plan for about $1.25 per house that you're going to be mailing to. Now, in most cases, it's a little bit cheaper than that, but that gives you a good idea of, if you think, oh, I want to farm 100 houses, well, now you need to take $1.25 times it by 100. Can you sustain that for 8 to 12 months? Because again, remember, that's only one piece of it. You need to be sending these people handwritten note cards. You need to be doing pop-bys. You need to be, coming up with an event in that area so they feel like they're seeing you everywhere. So there's a lot more that goes into it than just sending out a mailer. You can do just a mailer, but you're not going to see a return on it as quick, and you're not really building and forming relationships. So what I try to teach is, yes, this marketing piece that we're going to mail is important, but it's really only one piece of the pie. So we got our neighborhood to pop up, and this particular neighborhood has a 7% turnover rate. So this is definitely a good place for us to start putting our money and just to start farming. So that's really all we're looking for here in this particular resource. So now that we know that the neighborhood we've picked out has a good turnover rate, now we want to go to REI Source. The reason we want to use this tool is because this tool offers a lot of filters that will enable you to really get strategic, no matter if you're looking for sellers, buyers, or if you're just trying to farm the whole neighborhood, and get very intentional about the pieces that you're sending out. Because again, when you start sending these mailers out, you need to plan for the first 3 to 4 months. Just know that they're going straight in the trash. They're not even looking at it, which is why it's so important that you incorporate those other pieces of doing a handwritten note, making a phone call, dropping off a little pop-by, whether it's a sparklers for the 4th of July, or, sidewalk chalk if you've noticed there's kids at that house, whatever, because that's how you really start to find out the information that's going to be beneficial to them, and making sure that you're providing something that really is an item of value. A just sold or just listed, it's informational, but how beneficial is it? So you just got to think about, you've got to start to know the area that you're farming and what those people are interested in. And this tool is going to help us do that. So when you log in, you're going to go to prospecting list, and then you're going to come over to create your own. So when I click on create your own, it brings down another set of tabs going across here. The geography tab is what is opened. And I'm going to come down to this drop down box, and I'm going to go to map search. Now it's brought up the map. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter the address again. The same address that I entered in my first AM. And I'm going to click on map it. And it's brought up my neighborhood again.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to try zooming out just a little bit more. Perfect. Okay. So now I can see the whole neighborhood. So now what I'm going to do is go to draw polygon. When you click on this tab right here, this allows you to make up to 11 clicks, I believe. So you can really get real detailed. So maybe you're in a neighborhood that has a gated neighborhood within it, and the gated neighborhood is all you're focused on. You can really zoom in on that area and click so that you're only encompassing those homes. So this just makes it a little bit easier to really get those lines defined. I'm much better with this one than I am the pencil that I have to draw. Click out of that. So All right, so now I've got my area highlighted. I'm going to go up here and click on the property tab. And if you look right here, you'll see that I have highlighted 823 homes. Now, let's assume my budget isn't going to allow me to market to 823 homes. So I'm going to need to refine that. Or maybe I'm really just looking for those high probability sellers. So we know that all 823 residents are not in a position to sell. So now we need to start adding some filters to really find out who would be in a position to sell. So I'm going to click on this drop down box and I'm going to go down here to equity. And I want to find anyone that has 41 to 90% equity, and you can hit the hold down the shift button and click as many of these or as few of these, and then just add them all at once. So I've added this amount of equity, and if you come back over here, you'll see that it's taken it down to 328. So that's a little better. That's still more than what I want to farm to, because probably realistically, all 328 of these people are not really ready to sell. So let's go and add maybe some more filters. So if you could go here and add building living square footage. So if we think about people that are in a position to sell, it's going to be people that have equity, right? People that maybe have a large footprint, and people that are in an age range that are most likely not going to have young children still living at home. That's when you've got someone who's in a good position to sell. They maybe are considering downsizing. So that's what we're looking for here. So I'm going to go for these square footages, and let's see. So now I've taken it from 323 to 175. So I've made some good progress. Still a little more than what I want to farm to. So now let's go to demographics. And if you go to the drop down, we have year of birth. So now I can go and select people that are in an age range that may not have children. They may still have young children living at home, but are definitely less likely to have children.
63 and above, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna do. I like to make my husband feel old, so I tell him what I did. I always pick his birth year as the cutoff date. And the great thing about this is that at this point, nothing is permanent. So if we take too many away, we can move stuff back over. You can play around with it until you get the ideal number that you want, because each time you add a layer of filters, it shows you in real time the number of houses that you've got picked out. So we've got it down to 74. Now, the last thing I want to do is I'm going to go over here to this options tab. And I want owner occupied, because I'm focusing on sellers today. So I want people who own the home. And I'm going to, now here is a personal preference thing. You can do the mailing address, or you can do the property address, or you can do both. I always select both, because if I've got both, then I don't have to worry about, for some reason, it's a different address than what I've got. So I always select both here. So now we have a list of 74 people that are high probability sellers. The next thing that you want to do is just go down here to purchase. But let me ask you this. What do you think a list of leads for 74 high probability sellers would cost?
I think I've heard of them being like 3 cents a lead or 5 cents a lead.
Now, is that just for a lead in general, or is this something that's like high probability that they're going to actually, like, good, strong leads to sell.
I guess a list. I've heard of
Yeah.
it being a list, not necessarily a lead.
All right. So we're looking at $6.66.
What?
Right? It's amazing, right? So when you purchase this, they're going to send you, and it's pretty instant, you're going to get a CSV file, and it's going to have the names, the addresses, if there's any phone numbers or emails connected that are public, connected to those names, that's all going to be included on there. So now you've got your list. So now what you can do is, let me go here. You can come over to our FA print site, because First American has its own print company. That's where we put a lot of our marketing dollars. And so we are able to offer very competitive printing prices. And you can actually upload that CSV file right into FA print, go select your marketing material, and they will even mail it out for you. The other great thing is they give you the breakdown of how much you're paying in printing and how much you're paying in postage. And if we just kind of scroll down here, you can see, like, if you decided you wanted to do this card, it's going to cost you 17 cents for the card, and then of course postage. So
how much is a postage stamp for a postcard?
So you have options. You have lots of options. The couple of things to keep in mind: almost all of these materials are customizable, so you can even change out the colors, backgrounds on some of them. You can go in and add verbiage. So right here at the very beginning, it's going to ask you if you are uploading a mailing database. So if you were going to take that CSV file, before you upload it, make sure to add yourself, so that when those mailers start coming out, you know when they're hitting the mail. But then you have the option of selecting first class, which would be 70 cents. So on that first flyer, what was it? So you're looking at about 90 cents. If you wanted to do standard mail, which would be within 24 days, it would be delivered, 56 cents. Or you can just have it printed and have it shipped directly to you, and then you can address it. It's totally up to you there are 3 different ways to fit everybody's marketing budget, right? So you decide. So as far as the postage, it's just going to depend on which one. Now, if you are time blocking and planning out, which we all should be doing, then you could do this in plenty of time, so that you set it up, and even if it's going to be 24 days, have it going out. You just figure up on the calendar when you want it to actually start hitting, and you just have it set up 24 days before that, right? And then you're able to save yourself a little bit more money. That takes some planning. So definitely, if this is something that you're interested in, you just need to look at what your budget's going to allow you to do, and you may need to be planning a little further out so that you can get those ready to hit the mail.
So if we did 66 times the 90 cents, we're looking at $54.40 to mail. If we got it just to post it, just for us, and we didn't put postage on it, at 20 cents, we're looking at $13.20.
But now keep in mind, that's just for your mailing piece, but you still have all those other pieces you need to be incorporating as well. So when you're factoring in how many people you are able to reach out to, you just need to keep that in mind, because you still need to be reaching out to them in all these other ways. Because if you're only doing a mailer, it's just going to take you longer. That's the reality, because that's kind of like a billboard that comes to their front door. It'll get you name recognition, but that's not going to solidify a relationship. If you're really wanting to start building those connections, you're going to have to start doing some of those other pieces as well. So that's why I tell people, you've got to make sure that when you're factoring up this piece, that you don't forget about including, how much you're going to spend on pop buys and how much you're going to spend on note cards to be doing handwritten notes and following up with people. Even if it's just to have a, happy 4th of July card or whatever. You need to factor all of that in so that you can do this for 8 to 12 months. But then you'll just go through here. You can add your headshot, logo. You'll fill out all your information. We'll go here so you can see.
Before you get out of everything, there was a tab up there for, I think it was called bankruptcy. Was there a bankruptcy tab or foreclosure tab or?
Let me see.
Foreclosure.
So I have not used that tab. So, and it's just going to pull from public records. I personally have not used that one. So, let's see. Oh, I would have to go back and enter. So I'll have to play around with that one and see kind of how what all comes up. I haven't actually used that one, but they're constantly adding new things. Like you can see this one is new. And the same thing for FA print. They're constantly adding new pieces of material that you can send out. So they really do try to keep things up to date and constantly have new things for you to be able to do. So here's where you would just upload that list once you have it. And then when you go to the next page, it's going to show you your total cost for print and your total cost for postage based on the postage that you selected. Now, one other thing that I do want to add is when you first go into FA print, I recommend going into FA print before you are actually ready to start selecting material. And go through here and kind of look at some of the different things that are available. And if you see something that you like, maybe you see something that, oh, that would be fantastic for Christmas. Go ahead and see how there's this heart. You can click on that. And now you can go to favorites and you can see everything that you've marked so that you can find it easily. Because I will say, at least for me, the way they sort some of this stuff is not the way my brain works. And so I recommend taking some time just to kind of go through and plan out, if you're planning on starting this year, let's say you want to plan to have everything ready and you want to start July 15th, then take an hour and go through here and look at all the different marketing pieces that are available and kind of figure out, okay, this would be a great one to send out for July. This one is great for August. Oh, look, here's something on Halloween. Go through and get those marked so that each month you're not having to go back in and search, because this can be a rabbit hole if you're not careful, and you'll go through here and you'll get so distracted looking at all the different materials that you won't actually select anything and you won't actually get it mailed out. And that's the key, right? Just getting it mailed out and doing it. So go through here, find what you want to send out for the rest of the year. Go ahead and mark it with a heart so that it's right here on your favorites, so that each month, all you have to do is go in here and make any modifications as far as personalizing it to your specific brand and anything that you want added on there, and then send it out. And it'll save you some time.
So this is going to be in my marketing budget for July. Well, actually August, because my year starts in August.
Okay.
So I've done one mailer, and be honest, when Mike showed me this, I did do one mailer. I think I did it to way too many people, but one of the mailers went to a person that works at a new home. He's a new home salesperson. And he reached out to me. He's like, I don't know how I got this, but it came in the mail. And he showed me the postcard. And so I've developed a relationship with him, which I wouldn't have gotten otherwise. So, you just never know what
exactly
when you put it out there.
Exactly. You never know. And I'm working on a calendar that, not really a calendar. I keep calling it a calendar, but it's really more of a planner to help you. So once you've got these pieces picked out, you can write down on your planner, you can write down, okay, this is, I'm doing staging your home in July. I'm doing curb appeal for August. I'm doing herbs and veggies for September. So it's already planned out. So you're not having to think, oh, which one was I going to send out for this month? I don't remember. It's already planned out. It also has for when you're making your phone calls, when you're doing your handwritten notes, and then also for you to go ahead and plan out your pop buys so that you're not thinking about each month, oh, I need to do a pop buy this month. What am I going to do? And then go down a dark rabbit hole and never actually end up getting it done. You look over.
I'm not gonna do any Popeyes. I just know I'm not.
And that's fine. But that way you can have everything planned out, and then you know exactly what it is you're doing, so that all you're actually doing is the actual legwork of getting it out in the mail, making those phone calls, and building those relationships.
But what I am going to do is for each month that I send something out, I'm going to do a video on whatever the topic is. If it's staging your home, I'll do that, put that on social media, as well as mail it to my farming area.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, because sometimes I don't know what to talk about. So this will give me something at least to talk about.
Yeah.
And say, I'm going to send it out, but here's what I'm going to talk about. And you just kind of do that and put that on social media. So
awesome.
Okay, great.
All right.
So how would we get in touch with you? Well, I know how to get in touch with you, but how would anyone else get in touch with you so that they can set up their FA print and access to?
Absolutely. So all they have to do, they can email me. My email is bfoster@firstam.com, or they can call me on my cell. That number is 832-599-2841.
Call me on the cell phone. Okay. All right. All right. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate this. And
absolutely.
I'm going to share this out with everyone on my team, and we'll share it out to anyone else.
Great. And if anybody has any questions or wants, needs any more detailed or wants to come in and walk through it, just have them email me or give me a call, and I'll be happy to get that set up.
Okay, we'll do.
All right.
You have a good rest of your day.
Thanks. You too. Have a good 4th of July weekend.
You too. I'm going to Panama, so
I'm going to Tennessee.
Good place too.
We'll be talking soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.